Hey there, Dango Stu here. Today's video is about diagnosing my Detroit Diesel 471 and is proudly sponsored by MarineEngine.com. Off to Adrian's for the first day working on the Detroit, do the rebuild. Just remembered I tied the boat up at a different wharf. Need another coffee to wake up, but we'll get there. So yeah, I guess today we'll just head up there, start pulling it apart, see what we see, and then make a bit of a strategy from there. I definitely, you know, the plan is to give it the absolute once over. Now's the chance to get it right. So when it goes back in, it stays back in for a long time this time. So wish me luck. All right, here we are. Anodes really worn away.
Nice and clean, isn't it?
Not too bad.
No milk in this, it's all very nice.
No, there's no emulsified oil or anything I haven't seen, which is good. Yeah. Plenty of black oil, but no, yeah, no water in it at all.
Cool pipe socket.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, I don't know. Don't forget, we've got to take that governor off again.
Okay.
Because otherwise, yeah, you won't. Well, you'll get the head off. It will break.
Right.
Well,
yeah.
you won't break it if you're not. You won't break it if you're careful, but it's just too hard.
Too dangerous. Too
whatever.
Yeah.
So you'll need to get
4 bolts out there.
Well, I'd take it off the front. Because,
oh, really? Okay.
Because if the head ends up coming back on, and it's a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, we've got to try and roll it again. So
okay.
If we just
so take this cover off here.
Yeah. I'll give you. Yep.
All right.
When you get to that cover, let me know.
Okay.
I'll give you a spanner for it.
Oh, okay. Special one. Oh, the bent one?
Yeah, the bent one goes around the corner, yeah.
We're just going to take the head off first. Adrian's tackling the governor. I'm just going to take the rack off, then the fuel pipes, fuel hoses, and then get to the head bolts.
Right, oh, you got, yep.
Do you want to get it this way?
Yep,
there we go.
Yep.
In the box?
Yeah, in the white one for the big bit, you're right.
That was famous last words.
Yeah.
Sure, that washer in the sump. Okay.
Oh, well, it'll probably be sitting on the oil rail in there.
I got them all, yeah, just making sure. To get to the head bolts, we had to take the rack off, all the fuel tubes, and then the outside stands for the rockers.
Or like Kenworth, a hill with. I did it a couple of, not intentionally, just take all the lights and slip off the clutch and stall, and then it rocked backwards.
Clutch started it in reverse.
Smoke coming out there.
Oh, wow. Everyone on the lights looking at you? What's going on?
And they just blow so much smoke when they do it.
Yeah.
Leave that one there, gives you something to hang on to. You take the two.
Oh, yep. So take those two off.
Yep.
So leave that in,
Yep. Take those two, and we'll take the heat exchanger, of course, off the front. I've undone that bolt there, so I'll have to probably let it go forward a bit.
Just bring it forward a smidge.
Well, we're going to take this off anyway, so it's only. Yeah, well, if we undo that one, it'll flop it forward a bit, let it, and undo the bottom one, slide it forward on the bolt a bit. Yep. That'll give us some room. And we can
just a couple of mil. Take the thermostat. May as well check the thermostat while it's here.
Yep.
Thermostat off, so we can get to the bolts here, get them out of the head, get the heat exchanger and the header tank forward. Just going to back the top 2 bolts on both sides out a little bit, just because they kind of contact with the head, make it a bit harder to lift out.
I got a 15/16 one, which I brought wholly for just Kenworth engine mounts, because you can't get. It just takes forever with the spanner, but you can get in there and it's just just a couple of mil do, or. Yeah, that should be fine. Yeah.
So this is all about just getting the governor, and then the end cap on the from the blower cap.
All the weights are in here, so that all comes off.
Come off as one thing, yeah.
And then when you set it back up, it's all sitting a bit nicer.
Yeah, it makes sense. That's where the experience comes in.
Yeah,
done it the hard way, now I know the easy way.
Yeah, well, otherwise you'll actually crack or break either the nose or the governor housing.
Yeah. So then you're in a world of hurt.
Then you're Or sometimes I'll crack, you won't see it, and it'll be bound up and the engine will take off or something like that.
Right, so if you don't notice, you're in more trouble.
So yeah, go both ways.
Yeah, you could definitely use it then, couldn't they?
Usually not tight like that all the way to the end. That's not.
Yeah, right. Okay.
That's been rusted on. Look,
Yeah, right.
never come off.
Yeah, was it originally though? Like it was never.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I would have
Yeah.
lineaged them,
Yeah, right. Okay.
put them in the lathe, spun them up. We'll do it before we put it back together.
Okay.
Give them a lineage and play with a bit of emery cloth. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. You just spin them and.
Yeah, like it won't hurt them. Like yeah.
Done now.
That now. I think that one black one.
Yeah, it's kinked a bit this way. It hasn't separated from here yet, just this top here.
Change it a little bit. Use the hook.
Yeah, right.
You can see the white on there, you know what I mean? Like,
Sorry,
you can see the white on top of the piston too.
Yeah.
It's burning, it's got the phosphorus and the oil. So the cam's got some gnarly marks in it.
Yeah,
Which-
the rollers, yeah.
It's not nice, but when I look down from the side here, there's a huge gap. I can fit my little screwdriver just about in.
Okay.
You see the gap there?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
These should only have 5 thou clearance.
Wow.
Should be only rock this rocker 5 thou. So somewhat what will be causing excessive wear, it'll be running on the camshaft doing that the whole time.
Oh, okay.
That there is just ridiculous, the amount of.
Yeah, gotcha.
So the cam's constantly trying to
Twist it and-
twisting and going around. It'll be scuffing the cam up, causing the excessive wear on the lobes. It eventually will spin around and run sideways and destroy the cam.
Oh, wow.
So
I did notice the cam doesn't look like that, but it doesn't look
nice.
nice, yeah.
Okay, so you can see there's a dark line starting to appear where the rings are starting to stick.
Okay.
They're starting to fire down the hole. Yeah, they're all sort of starting to get that ring around the top where the top ring's starting to get stuck.
Yeah. So this dark line from about here upwards?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
So that's yeah, and you can see the oil and the carbon build up from the oil. It's just starting to build up around the top here.
And will that cause the ring to stick, so you think it's starting to stick because of the oil?
That's what will be happening. There'll be a carbon build up in the oil ring and in the compression ring. And
Yeah.
other than that, so we'll get the sump off now, and the liners look like we'll be able to salvage them. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, cool.
Push them out, put some rings on them. So, should be good.
So, drain the fat out of it.
Drain the fat out, and here we go.
Okay.
Press and seal. So it's a bit hard to show now that it's been used, but it's folded over and there's multi layers of metal in there, and it's once you do the head up, it compresses it,
Compresses it.
seals it, and keeps it nice and tight against the head. So, yeah. No.
The easiest oil change I'll ever do on this thing, probably.
I know. There she goes. Yeah. Okay, so the pickup is right at the back,
Yes.
which is good.
Good, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was hoping it wasn't at the other end. That would have been a problem. Oh yeah, and there's a little bit of a baffle just there too.
Yeah.
So it's not as bad as I thought. Could potentially be.
Yeah. Oh yes, please. I'd love one. Do you want a coffee?
Oh, yes please.
Much sludge in there?
Let's have a look.
Whoop.
Oh,
No, you're all right.
got the hole there, isn't it?
There's something there, bolt.
There's two. Wow. Thanks for that, guys. No, interesting. When I took the sump off, there was a bolt in it, and it's one of the bolts from the oil pump there. It's come undone. Oil pump's out now, so we're just going to do the rod caps and get the liners and pistons out.
Well, I'll do number two. Number two is ready to go.
Okay, yep. All right.
Pretty much.
Two.
I'm just going to turn it a little bit and it'll be right. So.
All right. Done. Bit of a moment of truth for rings. Just getting. There we go. Ring cap off. And then Adrian's going to pull the whole liner up from the top.
So we actually don't need the plate today because
they've all been coming out.
Coming out with magic colours.
Yeah, right.
This is usually a plate sits across the top of the piston.
Yep.
Just to protect the piston, especially when you're reusing them.
Mm-hmm.
Sits down in there. Sit with the pin. I had the pin.
Right, and goes in the ports, does it?
Yeah, the pin goes across the ports. You've got to make sure you don't go too far through the liner each way.
And score the...
Yeah, you'll actually grab the side of the block. So it's sort of, you're on sort of just off centre on two holes. Mm-hmm. And that's... Sits across there like that, and then wind him over.
Just... Yep. There we go. Like magic.
Lifting him up. You'll feel them usually grab the side of the block. Like
if it has caught,
especially but in the 92s and the 53s. Very critical that that bolt doesn't hang through because there's actually O-rings around the liner. So you'll actually smash the liner the O-ring glands and hurt them pretty bad.
Yeah, it's just sitting inside,
I think that's the top there now. Mm-hmm. And we'll give him a wiggle and hopefully he flies out the hole. Or is he going to stick with the crankshaft again?
Oh, right. Do you want me to push it? Yeah.
Give it a bit of a...
I'll give it a push if you want.
Alright, go. Yep. There we go. Here it comes. Plate.
In. Nice.
Piston and liner.
That's all of them?
That's all of them out. Put the bearings have had pretty good wear. Typical two-stroke upper bearing tops all the load.
Right.
There's no sort of load on the lower bearing. Being two-stroke load's always down, so that's why you can run them with the conrod bolts loose.
Right, okay, yeah, it's pushing onto it rather than pulling away. Yeah.
Like, it will run. If you stop the engine, the only time it'll get you down. But if you actually started it and got it to run,
kept it running. Yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah, right. There we go.
What
It's been scored.
What the? Oh dear.
What's that? It's been pushed in, is it? What's that?
I don't know.
These are the ones you pressure test, aren't they?
They've centre punched the caps.
What's that to do?
To retain the cap.
They've locked it.
Which is probably, when they've done that, created a void, so there'll be now, it won't be sealing.
Yeah, right. So you reckon that's where most of our oil's coming from?
Yep. Oil rings are pretty good.
Okay. Right, so not the rings, it's the
gudgeon pins.
Gudgeon pins, where it's all coming from.
And you can actually see the oil sitting in around the pin.
Yeah, right. Yeah, look at it.
It's just, so they've damaged the piston.
That look says it all.
So really, the piston's useless.
Wow. Okay.
Be a bearer of bad news.
No, look.
But
the good news is finding out. The bad news is, well, really.
The liners we can save, so it'll be piston.
So this punch has been done.
Centre punch, yeah.
And that's push. And this is why this is that contacting?
Well, I'd say at some point it's been contacted and they've cleaned it back so it doesn't.
Right,
Both spots above where the centre punch is.
Ah, right. So wherever it's been centre punched, just blowing it out a bit, and it's...
Yep.
Yeah, right.
So number 2 is same scenario.
So, and that's why they're all the same, because they're all done the same way. You know, we're saying they're leaking, it wasn't like one was bad.
Yeah, it's consistency across the whole.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a technique that's been used rather than a...
Yeah, rather than... Okay, so I'll get the tool.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's all right, mate. Not your fault.
That's a 53 one, so it's plastic.
Yeah, right.
So they come from Kent Moore. That's a 92 one, so just puts a nice little curve in it when it drives it into the piston.
And it's the curve that actually makes it lock in, is it?
Yes. It looks like they've belted these in with a socket or some form. You can actually see also that the cap is actually dinted if you get the light on it.
Yeah.
That's too small.
Yep.
So it's a 92 one. This is actually a bit smaller than the trunk piston in a 71.
Okay. Yeah, right.
So nice, which gets it, and there's a little shoulder. You can see the polished edge in there. And there's a white, see the white, then it goes to sort of a polished material. That's what it's grabbing on, is that polished area. When you push it in, it's curving it in and locking it in so it can't push back out.
Yeah, right.
And usually a bit of super wicket or bearing mount to help just keep that piston locked in properly. So yeah.
So just fill it up and then...
You can actually see it's starting to weep. It's starting to weep. And the bottom, the other side is actually already running out.
Yeah, right.
It's actually, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming. You can see it's starting to weep around the side here and then around the bottom. So we'll come out.
Yeah.
So, especially it's worse because there's oil pressure behind in there.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, you see it drop when it...
Yeah. Yeah, it keeps letting go. It's not holding it, it's just, so it's just holding it at the moment. Yep, there it goes.
So do you reckon that's through the seal or through the cup?
It's pulling through the...
Right.
Oh, well, I just wiped it out. You can actually see it's lifted some of the oil, pulled the oil
Back
up through the hole.
Yeah, gotcha.
Look where my head is and look down there. You'll actually see this, like, you can actually see where the cup's going down and up like that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah, it goes, it's like it goes over and...
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just been centre punched too hard with something that doesn't have a curve on it. Then...
And not creating the right amount of curve to lock it in tight.
To lock it in, and then the centre punch, yeah. Yeah. So have you tested that one yet?
No, it's just...
Looks the worst shape, doesn't it, in some ways? It just drops.
Just drops.
Yeah, that one's cactus, isn't it?
Yep.
Oh well. Worst one. So none of them are perfect. That's the worst one.
That's the worst one so far.
So far.
Pull it.
And what do you got? 8 of them to leak.
Yeah.
So you know,
oil,
yeah, it's a lot of oil all up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just a little bit more. It's just a little bit firmer in there.
Okay.
Number 3.
So just try each one in each.
Yeah, in each hole.
Each cylinder, yeah.
To get a nice feel.
Which way around they should go.
Just a little bit. Actually, that's even firmer in the bottom.
Better, yeah.
That's a really nice fit in there.
Yeah, right, okay.
Quite like that.
Yep. So we'll call that number 2 or try them all.
Number 4. Just
Yeah, you never know.
And just for entertainment purposes. Keep the viewers happy.
That's it.
And then you do this, and you look like a dipstick. And that's about the same as that one.
Okay, so it could go 2 or 4.
Oh, yeah. We'll pick a number.
Get the magic marker out, or
Magic marker, nice.
yeah. Or we could just centre punch it.
Yeah, well, just set a punch like a piston, yeah. Number 2. Make sure also that the liner gets good heat transfer too.
Yes, yeah. So you don't end up with those hot spots.
Yeah, well, as you can probably see down there, there's a heat transfer spot from the liner.
Yeah.
There's another one also on the back side over there as well.
And that's So number 3.
Number 3 liner, yes.
So wonder if that's slightly over number 3 then. Interesting. There we go.
That's a really good fit in there.
Right, okay. So if you can get it in, it's almost like the tighter the better, as long as you can do it by hand.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
That's really quite nice in there.
So yeah, I wonder what 3's like then. So it could be a good candidate for 3 if it's pretty easy in there. Not too bad.
Not too bad. I like it a little bit firm, just a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit better, but
It does fit really nicely in number 4. Like I really like.
yeah, that was good. Yeah. Bit of thread tape maybe.
Yeah. The super wick-in Loctite works really good. Yeah, that's
Pretty good there too.
Yeah, I reckon number 4 for this one.
Okay. Unless it turns out to be the biggest one, in which case should we put it here?
If it turns out to be the tightest one,
yeah, then we'll put it there. Yeah.
Go back to there. Remove the cap. Hit hole. It'll pop out.
Should do. Yeah. If it hadn't been centre punched.
Yeah, I've put. Well, there you go. It's been driven in so far, it's bashing against the piston pin.
Yeah, right.
I'm off the other one out the other side.
Yeah. Miss me. Yeah.
Same again. Just driven it in and it's been
hitting against it.
And it's actually, if you have a look at it, it hasn't even changed shape. It's
Cupped it all.
cupped at all. It looks like it's look along it. It's not cupped like how it should be. Normally, when they do come out, they are still cupped.
Yep. Even when you pop it out again. Yep.
Yeah. There's cut metal out of there too. See. Putting it in. It's all stuck behind it.
Yep.
Going a bit pear-shaped. So the oil comes out of the crankshaft, round the bearing, and it can actually go down. This bearing is designed so to go around behind the back of the bearing, down into the centre of the shaft, or the centre of the conrod, up through the guts, oils the piston pin, then around up through the outside of the centre of the piston pin and out the top, the 4 squirters, or the 4 holes in the top.
Yep.
Then to cool the crown of the piston inside that bowl.
Yeah, right.
Keep everything nice and cool while it's running.
Interesting.
Pretty primitive, but works.
Yep.
Well, I think we've got as far as we can today. We need to order new pistons and put new rings in them, then start throwing it all back together. Adrian's getting the drive gear and everything ready for the compressor. Had an old mechanical tacho in there. It's been taken out, the fitting for it anyway. Detroit's sitting there, chilling out. Hello, Mr. Sheep. What are you up to? You're chilling out too. Look at your shaggy coat. What are you chewing on? There's just dirt there, buddy. Just dirt. Well, looks like the animals have all knocked off, so I think we will too. It looks like we may have only had the anode here in, so we've now actually put a new one in here. As you can see, a lot more meat on it. Another one here that I actually thought it did have, but it didn't. And we've put another one right at the inlet here, which we had to cut a little bit shorter. But that should give it a lot more protection, not put so much load on that one. We took the opportunity while the head was off to put a helicoil into that missing bolt that had actually been out the whole time the engine was in the boat, so that was definitely another leak into the bilge but not into the airbox. He'd fill them with steel wool. Okay. Like he'd make big cannonballs out of steel wool and they just come up with these big bright orange flaming things.
Pretty cool. I never thought about doing it.
Yeah. He said, just get
well, at least it can't hurt anything, I guess.
No, that's it, yeah.
Whoopsie daisies.
All right, now, do you need me to hold it?
Should
Or?
be right. It's just no matter.
Oh, it's got to open.
It's got a catch on that drive in there.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
After that, Adrian confirmed that the airbox drains on both sides were completely open, so there's no chance of oil pooling in the airbox should something fail down the track. Back at Adrian's this morning after the weekend, did the rescue diver course on the weekend, so a bit tired and sunburnt from that, but just turned up. As soon as I walked in, Detroit brought me his little ball. Oh, Detroit. Adrian's done excellent work on the engine. It's barely recognisable. Oh wait, there's mine. Anyway, time to push on. Hopefully the parts have arrived. Actually, I haven't spoken to Adrian since last week. He's not around at the moment, maybe down the road or having breakfast, but time to get this back together. He shoots. Oh, you'd be a good goalkeeper. This apparently is the liner. No, Detroit, not now. This apparently is the liner puller for a 60 series Detroit. When Adrian got back, I left him to do a few of the simpler things while I got on with the more technical work of gasket scraping, etc. After that, I started installing the fittings for the coolant lines that are going to go through the compressor head. So this is brand new out of the packet? Oh no, yes.
Yep, brand new out of the box.
Yep. And then they're a little blue. So they are...
They are blue, they're not overheated.
They're blue, they blue when they come out.
They haven't been cooked.
Yep.
So this is... They do sit nicely.
Yep.
Quite nicely just there before you put them in with the tool, which we'll do in a minute. After we've washed them, I'll get all the preservative off the piston and that.
Right. So it's like a flywheel or brake pads, like brake rotors. They got the...
It's quite...
Yeah.
They all used to come wrapped in wax 100 years ago.
Yeah, right.
This is the ring set. There is 2 sets of oil expanders in here. That's it. Use my broken teeth to end up with more.
Instructions.
Now it does state.
Ah, right. So there's more than one depending on...
No. White is for non-turbo and transit buses.
Okay.
So more tension.
Right, okay.
Buses, because they do lots of idling and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So if you use the wrong rings, they'll work, but they just won't be very efficient.
Okay.
You'll end up with a bit of pass. So the purple ring is for turboed, and the white one for non-turbo.
Gotcha, okay.
So yeah, it states on the bottom.
And so white, no, non-turbo, and so if you had a turbo transit bus, you would still use white, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Because they do so much idling.
Idling, gotcha. Well, it's knowing is good.
Yes.
You know? Closure, exactly. Until then it was a theory.
Pretty good theory.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to put my left nut on.
Yeah, I know. I actually think you did officially. But you know, if you're going to have a bet with someone, you have to put something they actually want.
Yeah.
What am I going to do with your left nut? Kind of a bet. Lens green. So just petrol this one?
Petrol, just to wash him out. Probably should have my safety gloves on, but bad habits die hard.
That's it. Same as me.
Try not to drag them around the disc or scratch all the tin coating because it's only quite thin. It's
quite a thin coating, yeah.
Yeah, it's only 0.2 of a thou coating on there, so try not to hurt him.
Yep.
Dribble dry.
Very good.
Same
now, wrist pins.
Wrist pins as well. They've still got the same coating on them. But
yeah. And you were saying make sure they're all hollow. You don't have one that's solid.
Yeah, you end up with a solid wrist pin. They'll end up with an out of balance engine. Pretty much these days, most of them are all hollow, but there was a period in time when they went through the changeover and they ended up with a solid pin amongst a box of hollow ones.
Hollow, yeah.
People still put them together and wonder why they had a vibration.
Yeah, exactly.
Working with Adrian has suddenly made me all pedantic about straight and level and everything being nice. It's actually kind of been good doing this engine as well as a repair. a whole lot of things are actually going to be better than they were. So there's definitely a silver lining to the cloud. One of those improvements has been removing the redundant fuel filter. So now we come out of the Vitas twin filters or parallel filters into the fuel pump directly. What this means is we can now bring the cooling pipes in much closer, which means we can braze them together and have less of those rubber sections with the hose clamps. It also meant that we could finally turn the oil filler straight up again and make the engine easier to top up. So that's just been a win all round.
Sorry, I'm just picking Adrian's brain about the turbo version, distracting him again. So you're saying that, so you got like pressurized air going into the blower.
Yep. So the turbo's blowing into the top of the blower.
Yep.
Pushing through. Now the blower, a naturally aspirated one and a turbo blower, differences of clearances in the rotors when you set it on.
Okay, yeah.
So get more wear through, and the blower actually heats up more with the turbo on top. So you've got the hot air coming out of the turbo. So if you don't do it, it'll grab the housing, seize up.
Right.
Nasty thing.
Yeah, I bet.
But in turn, as time progressed, they had airbox drain tubes that they all have, and that would just rely on the airbox tube venting out to atmosphere for any oil in the air chest. So they then come along with the airbox drain valve, which shuts off. There's about, I think there's 3 or 4 different ones. They all open and close at different ranges. They all open and close at different pressures for different applications. So like a high horsepower marine one will shut off a bit later. It might shut off at 7 pound or 6 pound. Whereas a smaller, lower horsepower engine will shut off at 2 or 3 pound.
Okay.
And that helps keep the airbox pressure up. So, or upon acceleration, you've got plenty to keep you going. The early 871Ts, 471Ts never had them, but as time went on, they fitted them. And usually when I build one now, I'll fit airbox valves that have never had them. Like,
just upgrade it.
Yeah, it just makes it a bit nicer and keeps a bit more pressure on the ring sets, keep the rings out and everything like that. So,
okay.
So, yeah.
Interesting, thank you. So theoretically, what would happen if you didn't have your blower? Would it still run? Like it wouldn't die like a Detroit without a blower?
It will. They do. There's not enough clearance in the.
That's it. But if you took the rotors out and used it as,
you wouldn't get it to. It'd have trouble starting it, but it would run.
Of course, it needs the boost to start.
Yeah, it needs the air in there to scavenge.
Right. Yes. That makes sense.
Would keep it scavenging enough.
Once it was running.
Yeah, once it's running.
Yeah, so it's not possible because you have to have it running, take the rotors out.
I've seen them arrive with no air chest cover on them, and they've got them started just because there's enough volume of air that does come through the blower. But yeah.
Okay.
One show up at the workshop with the handle cover off.
Well, yep.
It happens.
Bit of an air leak?
Yeah, a bit of an air leak.
Good being quiet, Detroit. Well done.
Okay, so it felt a bit sloppy, so we just. I can't even get in the story of my life. Yeah. But yeah, like it's probably hard to see the little bit of movement that's there. So we're allowed 2.5 to 3.5 thou clearance. It's hard to measure. You can't just stick a feeler gauge in there.
Yep.
And it feels a little bit sloppy, but you've got to remember there's a little bit either side, so it's going to have a bit of a rock, which didn't feel nice. You've just got to watch the grooves in there. You get the tool onto the bearing material and not just inside a groove, because you'll get a misconceived reading. Just actually, see if I put it in there like that, I can pick up a line there, so I'm in the groove, and I can pick up the groove over here too if I'm not watching what I'm doing. Like,
right.
So you need to make sure you're in
on the meat of it.
On the material. That nice and straight, 90 degrees to the job. And out on the outer edge will be worse as the piston rocks. So if I measure right out here, it'll be worse than what it will be in the middle.
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
So if I push that in now, it actually won't push in, like it's too tight, like I'm pushing.
Yeah, right, okay. So you can feel the taper.
Yeah.
Even if it was just inside limit, there's no point putting it back together.
No, because you're only going to end up there. So there's 3 thou in the middle there.
Right, so 3 in the middle, but
3 in the middle and
5 at the outside.
5 at the outside, so time to go.
2, yep, all right, done. Got to get the random horse shot too.
No.
Everyone wants lunch.
Everyone.
What's her name again?
Bonnie.
Bonnie. Very suitable name. You want some more bread? Or do you want yogurt? We'll leave this video here because it's already getting long enough, and we're now sort of getting into the phase of putting the engine back together. We had the pistons, as you saw, but we're still waiting for the little end bearings to arrive so we can get those pressed in and then put everything back together. All right, well, I'm heading back to Adrian's today, so I'll catch you in a week or so when we've got this thing running again. Look at your poor comb. Turn around. Got all these sores where you've been pecked by the bush turkey. He's been attacking you, hasn't he? Meanie. We'll catch him, don't worry. Normally lock you in, but with Turkey Man being nasty, you stay in there tonight. I'll see you in the morning. At least you're safe in there. Crazy Daisy Cam. Go find Daffy.
Where are you going, Daisy?
Why don't you go out on the deck? You can be outside and feel safe. Feel unharassed.
You could bring your boxes up here.
At least you could see some light for a change.
Sit in the breeze and you might cool down and go off the...
Yeah, exactly.
off the cluck.
Become a normal chicken again. Instead of Crazy Daisy.
Are you going to blame on poo on you?
That's a lot of noise, Daisy.
Yeah, you don't normally talk this much, Daisy.
Got a lot to say.
Yes. You're on your own too much, haven't you?
Yeah, all those thoughts going around your head. Finally got someone to tell them to. She's got quite delicate little claws. She doesn't hurt at all.
She's got a toenail's turned under.
Yeah, right. What's happening, Daisy? Can't decide what to do. Do I want to just sit down?
It just takes her forever to work out the 3 dimensions.
Yeah, maybe. She
Space,
doesn't.
you know.
She's not that
How
good at
far
it, is
it
she?
Down there? I can't work it out. I keep
Yeah.
turning my head to see it from different
Yeah, different angle. Her eyesight's not great, is it?
No. Ah, there you go. That's better, isn't it?
You're gonna play us a tune, Daisy.
Now where are you going?
Yeah, going over there.
Don't knock the telly over, I suppose you could.
Nah, she's not strong enough.
Just don't break the egg.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to sit on the big egg?
Yeah, that's it. She's seen the egg. I'll sort that out. Use my hot ass.
No, that's not what we want. Come on, Daisy, come on.
You can do it.
It's not that far. You've got wings. You can fly.
Go on, Daisy. Give it a go.
You can fly.
totally thinking about it. Get some more air in my feathers.
Exactly.
Cock my head a bit.
Some wind beneath my wings.
It's all of 1.5 feet. Go on. Go on, Daisy.
Jump, Daisy, jump. Spread those wings and fly. Yeah. I have no idea what you're saying.
Yeah, that's it. That's what she was saying to us. It looks like you're so thinking about it. It's just a little bit too far. She looks like she's having a stroke or something when she does that.
A bit of an itch. I think she must have mite. Did you put mite stuff on it?
Yeah, I gave her the ivermectin and I put the mite stuff in the box, but I didn't put the powder on her.
She needs something on her. I think that's maybe why she keeps fluffing up the feet.
Yeah, right. This time, Daisy, this time. Yes!
Hey, well done.
Sense of achievement.
That one's easy. You can do that.
That was graceful.
Soft landing. Now it's getting you down to the ground, isn't it? Who's that? Well done.
See you, Daisy. Thanks for visiting.
Ta-ta.